we're discussing The Curse of Chucky, which came out in 2013 and was both written and directed by the creator Don Mancini. But before we get into any of that, Tuan, can you give the people a plot summary?
After the passing of her mother, a young woman in a wheelchair since birth is forced to deal with her sister, brother in law, niece, and their nanny as they say goodbyes to their mother. When people start turning up dead, Nika discovers the culprit might be a strange doll she received a few days earlier.
So, The Curse of Chucky. I have to be honest, when this first came out, I had no idea it was out. I think I didn't know about The Curse of Chucky until The Cult of Chucky came out. So, this is actually my first time like, ever seeing this movie. What about you guys, Tuan?
I did see it prior because, if I'm not mistaken, I know it eventually came to Netflix, and that's how I watched it. Like I know it went straight to like VOD, DVD, whatever, but it eventually came to Netflix. And when it came on Netflix, however long it was, I think I watched it like when it first came out. I didn't even know there was same. I didn't know it was even coming out. I just like happened to come across it on Netflix. It was like, well, I could just toss this on, and it was a good little watch.
Maria?
Well, it was my first time watching it. It was the first time I've seen it. I I mean, I remember when it came out, a lot of people didn't like it, but it was my first time watching it. It was okay. I don't know what I was expecting. I kind of already knew it wasn't like their best movie. I remember when it came out was when they were kind of making like a bunch of remakes and they were all just bad in general. Um, I just it just doesn't compare to like the other movies, you know? Like it
Really?
wasn't, yeah, I
No,
feel like it wasn't as like
I
gory as the other movies.
I feel like this was the most gory one of them all. And
No,
I feel like this one is like it takes it back to being scary the way the first two
Hmm.
were. I feel like this is the scariest one since Child's Play 2.
really? I don't know. I just didn't really
I could
like,
agree with that.
I don't know. I just wasn't really like when I was watching it, I was just kind of like,
Is it Chucky's appearance? I'm not gonna lie to you, the
it
Chucky
is.
doll, it took me out of it because I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not Chucky.
Yeah, yeah. And it wasn't until the end where like you see his face where I'm like, okay. I feel like if I would have seen his face like this the whole movie, then maybe it would have been a little bit better. But it was his appearance. I couldn't get past that, and I couldn't get
Yeah.
past the other plot lines that were going on, and yeah, like I feel like all that kind of overshadowed the killings
There
to
was a
me.
lot of like plot lines and like soap opera type shit in the background that was so confusing and was not
Mm.
needed at all. Like I thought the whole Jade and Jesse shit from Bride of Chucky was annoying. Like who's sleeping with Jill was pissing me off. Like I did not need this in my life. Just murder these people, Chucky.
Yeah, so I just thought it was okay.
You didn't think it was scary? There was no like you
No,
were
there really wasn't. Like I was just it just feels like a lot of stuff he's already done, you know? Like the whole like elevator thing he already did. Basically, you know, he's been on an elevator. Like I was just it wasn't scary at all to me.
I mean, see, I think in their defense, this came out 9 years after the seed of Chucky, and that left a bad taste in all the fans' mouths. So I feel like they came back and they were like, let's do all of our greatest hits, let's do them scarier and more gorier, so we can win the fans back. And
Mm.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I thought
I
that
don't
kind of
know. I just
worked.
really did not like it.
Well, are
I
there any
thought it worked.
scenes? Oh, go ahead, Tuan.
No, I was just gonna say I thought it kind of worked. Like it definitely isn't one of my favorites. Personally, like I would put this one above like three and Seed, but I like that it kind of went back to the basics of like Chucky, and like kind of like being like really sneaky and stuff. Like he wasn't like the first two movies with Andy, and kind of like even though we know the Chucky doll, like if this was someone's first time seeing the movie, they probably wouldn't know like how Chucky is, and like it was the doll like doing everything at first. It's kind of like that feeling you got watching the first movie, like you see Chucky doing like certain like you think it's Chucky, but you're like, oh, it might be Andy. Like if this was someone's like first time seeing Chucky, um, and this was like the first movie they watched, they could probably like be like, oh, is it the little girl doing it? Blah blah blah, stuff like that. So I could see like that angle of it, but having all the other movies and like the back knowledge of your mind and putting this one in place, like it does bring it back to those kind of basics a bit.
I can see that. Yeah. Are there any scenes that you guys enjoyed or disliked?
The dinner scene, just because I was like, who's gonna eat the rat poison?
That was kind of very intense.
Yeah,
And I did not like I was on like cuz they kept like switching seats and like, oh, I'm not going to sit there, I'm going to sit here instead. So I was like, "Oh my god."
yeah.
That's
Then
all
the way
jumbled.
the camera was like panning and shit too, like it tried to confuse you
He
more.
did his direction in this movie was amazing.
I like kind of knew it was gonna be the priest. Like you can see where the plate goes, and then like
I
everybody
mean,
sat down. He was the last one to sit down. I was like, it's obviously the priest.
but
Um,
also it's the priest. We don't need a priest in this movie for even longer than we already did.
Honestly, I thought that scene was too intense. Like I feel like it was really intense, and like I just didn't like it. I don't know. It was just kind of too much. Like the whole like the music and yeah, they're panning at everybody and I think like the daughter got sick, but she was or no, she wasn't sick, but she was like, this tastes funny. So you're like, oh my God, it's her. But I mean, I kind of already knew it was the priest. Um, but I don't know. I just didn't like. I thought they kind of overdid it, like, because I feel like they were kind of doing too much. And I'm like, okay, just show who it is. Like, I know who it is, but just kind of get to it. Like, they were making the scene so intense when I feel like it shouldn't have been. I guess because I mean, someone's just getting poisoned and that's it. It's no big deal.
Hmm.
Like the only scene that I really liked was the scene when Chucky takes off his prosthetics, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. I see.
I hated that part.
What?
I
I
did
think it
like
was the
that
only
part also,
right.
just because
But
you like us knowing like the movies, like in the back of your mind, this is like the Chucky doll, but I'm but I'm like, how is this the Chucky doll? And he looks like that, and getting to that point and seeing like, oh, he just had like fake shit on his face the whole time. I was like, okay, I get that. Because at first, like, I don't know, like, my mind was thinking like maybe like did he already transfer himself into another doll? Did he get put into like a new good guys doll, like in like 3 or 2 or something? So I was kind of wondering that when I first saw this movie, but um, yeah, seeing that he's the same Chucky doll the whole time.
that's why I hate it. I was like, I don't know. I just the doll itself looked weird, and I was just like, his face is off. His face looked fat. I just did. I was like, you know what? I'm not enjoying this Chucky. And then to pull back, and it's like, oh, Chucky is actually the Chucky you guys all know and love. I'm like, no, it's not. This Chucky looked like he gained about 20 or so pounds since the last time we fucking saw him, and he's back to hiding in the shadows. And then I have to say, I didn't like the slow plot reveal of the movie. I didn't like it. It's like he's going back to get revenge on the people who wronged him, and Nika, he I don't like the retconning. That's my issue with this movie. It retconned too much. Like already with Bride of Chucky, we have this stupid Heart of Dembala, which wasn't ever mentioned or thought about in the first three movies. And now we're saying that the whole reason that Charles Lee Way was killed is because he was murdering he was attacking Nika's family and he got caught. But didn't Nika's family live in the suburbs? How the fuck did you just get caught getting shot like downtown Chicago? That
Yeah, I
makes
See,
didn't.
sense.
Yeah, I didn't really like that plot line either. Like, I feel like I don't know. Like, I was kind of hoping that the whole reason was that he was getting caught was because he was out here killing, not because he was obsessed with someone and you know, I guess obsessed with their family in general. Um, I just, I don't know. I also did not like the slow burn of it. Because I feel like you don't even really get to see Chucky move around until like halfway through the movie, or even like more than that. And I didn't like that. Like I already know the doll moves. Like just move.
They were trying to throw it back to the first movie, but it's like we already know that Chucky's the fucking killer. Don't You don't have to do this. So is it him or is it him? Is it him or is it not him thing? We already know Chucky. We're here to watch. It's called The Curse of Chucky. We know it's fucking Chucky. Show us Chucky. But also with the whole like him stalking Nika's family thing, it gets retconned again when you get to the TV series. Because in the TV series, he was in a hotel room with Tiffany, and then he just like left her to go on a rock to go hang out with Eddie, and that's how then he ends up getting killed. So that's my main issue with this franchise is that after Child's Play 3, the continuity is like all over the place.
which I like and also dislike about this franchise, because I like because we do have the same we, in a sense, we have the same continuity, but it's like not the same continuity, but like picking it up after a while and still like wanting to keep the same continuity, I can at least try to commend them for it. But yeah, the retconning after a while, it does like it is like okay now like we done went through like three different scenarios of this same thing at this point. Like I'm like I know like we are confused by it, but it's also like it's the math isn't mathing like 100%. It's almost like Fast and Furious.
And why do we have to keep replaying the night that first night of when he first became Chucky? Like, why do we
Yeah,
have to keep going back over that over and over again? It's an iconic moment in the franchise. Let it be. Like, we don't have to keep beating that dead horse. Like, we get it. He was killed by Mike, and now he's Chucky. But are there any more scenes that you guys liked or disliked or liked or plot points you thought were completely stupid or anything? Maria.
I didn't like how they were so mean to like the final girl. Also, I didn't like the whole. Okay, like yeah, like you were right. The whole soap opera thing was kind of weird because like you think like the the babysitter and the dad are together, but then turns out it was the mom, and I'm just like, okay, like what does that have to kind of do with anything? And then like to like not even mention the fact that like the mom was so shitty to the sister, and like their mom was also shitty to her just because she was like born paralyzed or whatever, and I just thought that was so dumb. And I felt so bad, I guess. Honestly, I think that's what kind of ruined the movie for me too, was that I was mad most of the time that they were treating her so badly, like saying all this stuff to her, wanting to like take her to like, or wanting her to go to like a home, just because they wanted the house, and I feel like those plot points those plot lines never really led anywhere, because they all died anyway. Chucky killed them.
Tuan.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't really have any other scenes that I would say I like or disliked from this one. Besides, like the one with the rat poison, I thought that was a good scene. Um, I don't want to get. I did do like the scene towards the end, one of the scenes, but I don't want to get into it because we're probably gonna talk about it near the end, like when we speak about like the characters and stuff.
Yep.
So I'll
I
save that for
will
them.
say though, just like Bride of Chucky, this movie had me hate almost every single character. I mean, with the exception of Nika. I felt sorry for Nika the whole entire
Oh yeah,
time.
definitely.
But every other character I completely hated. That's the only difference with Bride of Chucky. Because in Bride of Chucky, I didn't like any of the humans. I didn't even like Chucky. I only like Tiffany. But at least I have a human to like this time around. I just did not fucking. I couldn't stand any of the humans. They, like Maria said, they were so mean to Nika the entire fucking time. Like, what
No,
has
they
she
were.
done to you people that you all like fucking hate her so much?
Like
Literally,
y'all
she was
just came
literally
up
just
in her
living her
shit
life.
too. Like y'all literally just came up in her shit just to hate.
Yeah, this is her house that she's been living in with her mother this entire time. You guys have not been there, obviously, but now mom is dead and everyone wants the fucking house, and you're so fucking mean to her. I hated it. Donna Mancini makes you hate the character. You're supposed to be kind of like you don't want to see die, but he makes you root Chucky on. Like Chucky, get it, kill that bitch. Like, But let's get to the characters, guys. What do you guys think of Nika, Maria?
I liked her. Um, thought she was a good character. She just didn't really, I don't know, like just her whole dynamic with her family, I thought was kind of weird to me. Like, it just felt there was so much drama around her for some reason. Um, I mean, I did like her as a final girl. I thought her like fighting the doll and like well, I guess like at the end where she's like in court and she's like, like I'm alive, like you didn't win. I thought that was really good because you know what, like she's right. He was out here trying to kill her whole family, but she lived, so technically she won. I love that for her. But other than that, I don't know. Like I also just kind of wish she would have stood up for herself a little bit more with her family, like they were just so mean to her and she was just like the fuck, okay, but then that was it, like never nothing ever really came out of it. She never really like did much, I guess. But I guess generally I liked her because she was really the only likable character there, you know like including Chucky. I think like she was just a good character, out of everyone, and that's pretty much it.
Tuan.
Yeah, I liked Nika's character. Like even though it was already kind of like given that she was going to be final girl, I liked her as the final girl because she wasn't stupid. Like she like she wasn't stupid and like she like not that she knew exactly what was like going on like fully, like she had a gist of an idea, but obviously like we know from the franchise, you tell someone that there's a killer doll out, nobody's gonna just fucking believe you immediately. So we just know how people in the franchise work. But she was like a smart character, like how she went about certain things. And even though like she like her character like was like disabled, like it wasn't like played like for laughs or anything. Like it wasn't like anything like bad towards her character. Some points it helped, like when Chucky cut her leg, and it didn't affect her. Like she was able to just like get away from him, and with by him doing that, or like using like her wheelchair in certain instances and stuff like that. So I did like that, and I do agree. I feel she could have stood up for herself a bit more. No pun intended on that, but she could have like stood up for herself like a bit more with like the situation that was happening. But like there wasn't much she could do because she had lost her caretaker, which was her mother. So she was put in like a kind of bad position in a sense. So I'll give her some leeway on that as like a character. But yeah, overall, I like the character, and she's a good final girl. Actually, someone that you were able to root for in the movie. The only character that I didn't hate because everyone else was just like piling on her for like no reason, and it's like especially the was that her sister? That was her sister, right?
Barb is her sister
Yeah, Barb. Like Barb she was being a bitch for like no reason.
the entire time.
But yeah,
I
those
like
are my
Nika.
thoughts.
Yeah, I like Nika. She's the first child's play human I've liked since Andy and his foster sister and Child's Play 2. I didn't like any of the characters in Child's Play 3. Like, yeah, we had Andy, but it wasn't the Andy that we all knew and loved. And the black character Tyler, he was fucking annoying. That chick was too old to be kissing Andy. It just all felt wrong. And then I hated everyone in Bride of Chucky. And the character of Jennifer Tilly was annoying as shit in Seed of Chucky. And Nika's the first human that I was like, I like her. I feel sorry for her. Her whole family is evil, and I hope Chucky takes them all out. So, and I'm glad she survived. It sucked that she was blamed for all the murders. And wasn't it said in the flashback that Chucky is the reason why she's paralyzed?
Yeah.
Because he stabbed her mom, right? And it ended up hurting her inside the womb. Or did I hear that wrong?
No, yeah, it was him. Like I think, yeah, he said that he was the reason that she had, was born like that.
So yeah, so like that gives it even something better. Like he's the reason why she's in a wheelchair, which is the reason why her family despises her, treats her like shit. So they both have this like built up like what I want to say. It's like they have this built-in rivalry that Chucky started, and he beat her. Well, she beat him because she didn't die, and I guess he beat her because he put her in prison or in the insane asylum. So I enjoyed Nika, but what you guys think about her crazy ass sister Barb? Tuan.
Yeah, Barb was she was something. She was just super annoying for like no reason. It just really like they really gave her that archetype of like the bitchy like woman, like worker woman, and that was like it was like all her archetype was. It was nothing else added to that but that. It was like it was all
They threw in the whole lesbian thing in there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that's literally like that whole archetype of like a type of woman in like movies and TV shows. Like they literally just threw that in and made that her whole character and gave her nothing else besides that. Like she showed up on the scene immediately, was like trying to like convince Nika of stuff, and it's like, girl, what is you doing? And then like adding the subplot in her cheating on the husband for like no reason but other than to have them kiss in the movie, which is funny because I'm like, that's something I would expect from like a straight director, but not like Dom CD who's gay. That's kind of funny in a sense.
That like video chat sex scene was weird.
It was like what is this? It was like it was so out of place. Like all of it was like out of place. It was just like it was like not. It was just not. I was not feeling that whole like subplot with her and the girl. Like they were I was like, why are y'all doing this? Like, but besides that, there wasn't much like. And I always say saying it's like there wasn't much to her character to even like come back to or think about. She was like there to be kind of bitchy, and like I didn't like I just didn't care when she eventually died. Like I knew what was gonna happen because like usually those type of people in the Child's Play movies do not last long, and she definitely didn't last long here.
Maria.
Yeah, she was a bitch. Huh? Like there's really nothing much I can say. Her plot line though with the babysitter, that I think was like the most shocking thing for me throughout the whole movie because I was not expecting that. I was like, for sure the dad and the babysitter are fucking, which I guess they did it on purpose. It was like watching a soap opera. Like I was like, oh my god, but like that was it. And then just I did not like the way she treated Nika. Like she was such a bitch. Like and for what? Like I don't like she was just like her mom, kind of like making Nika feel like, less than a person, like, it's not her fault she's in a wheelchair. Like, I'm pretty sure she didn't ask for that. Um, and it's just like, and then I mean, I love the fact that like Nika threw it in her face so many times, like, bitch, I'm fucking capable. Like, she's been living in that house for years. Like, she knows how to do her shit. And the fact that like her sister, like every little thing that like the tiniest mistake, she would just throw it back at Nika. Like, see, you can't be here by yourself. Like, girl, like, I don't, like, worry about yourself and your husband, please. Like, worry about your daughter. Worry about yourself. Like, leave Nika out of this. I know they need money, but that's not Nika's fault. Um, but yeah, she was definitely like added drama that I kind of liked, because I like drama and soap operas. But like, that was it. When she finally died, I was like, thank God. Um, but yeah, she was just such a bitch for no reason. Well, I guess for a reason. Her mom probably made her like that, but she was a bitch.
What about Ian, the husband, Maria?
He was, well, he was smart for one, for planting that camera on, like, on Chucky. Like, I
True.
was, you know, and I thought it was crazy that he was already suspecting an affair between like her and the babysitter, because I was just not like, it definitely would have gone over my head. I'm sorry, but I feel like that was smart of him. And I like the fact, because like, because the mom she was also really bitchy towards her daughter, like telling her she couldn't eat certain things, or like not letting her be a kid, and he was just like, I like that he tried to fight her on those things, for like the sake of their daughter. But like, like, I guess as a victim, I don't know. He was just kind of there, really. I guess to add to the drama, to add to the plot. But as a victim, I'm just like, well, he died. That's crazy, and that's it.
Tuan.
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't really care much for his character either. To be honest, like him and I keep forgetting this woman's name for some reason. His wife in the movie, him and Barb, they deserved each
Barb.
other. Yeah, they deserved each other because they were both like they were both terrible. So they kind of deserved each other, to be quite honest with you. But at the point, like when he was like, believing Nika and everything, and then like tried to like, and then but then immediately like turn on her, I was like, come on, like, we do not need this right now. Like, like, I understand like the situation, and it's like, especially um even though we as the audience know it's a Chucky thing, in that instance you would think it's like it's a who done it type of thing, because like who else could have actually done something, like, killed someone in the house besides either Nika, the daughter, or even Jill. So I get it, but also you were asleep this whole time and you don't know what was happening either. So like I get the situation, but like the immediate like turning on Nika was kind of crazy, and I mean he kind of paid the price for it by just fucking getting killed by Chucky. But yeah, I do agree with Maria. He was smart, like getting ahead of Barb with cheating and putting the little camera in the doll, which surprised Chuck even let him get that close.
Right. That's then that brings up another question. How you put cameras in Chucky if he has organs? See, that's what I'm talking about. The continuity. He should. He didn't see the beaten organs when he opened up Chucky to put the camera inside of him.
That's true.
What about Alice? Alice was an annoying little girl. What you think about Alice, Tuan?
She was no Andy Barkley. I'm glad we don't have another child protagonist out of her, because that little girl
Same.
was boring, and I'm glad like she was not our new like Andy. They didn't try to like recreate that. They just went a whole new way with like giving us Nika, which I'm like, thank you, cause that little girl was not a good child actor. Alex Vincent, he was a good child actor. This girl was not, like, and it's weird because like this movie, even though like it was direct to DVD or like digital, it had that made for TV feel, which is also I think it asked for that soap opera feel, like you Maria mentioned earlier. And this little girl definitely felt like this is like one of her first like roles or something in like a movie or anything. And I was not feeling it as much. I don't really have much to say on her though, because like she is a kid in the scenario, and um, like almost every kid in that scenario, like they wouldn't believe them if they said like the doll was talking. But um, after all the time has passed, like with everything that possibly happened with like Andy in the past and all that stuff, like I don't know. Somebody told me the good guy doll is talking, and they're a child, and they may not even know that. I'm a little sus. I don't know.
And this is years after Andy, so
Yeah, so like, if especially
I
they
might
don't
be
know.
side eyeing it.
Yeah, I'm a little sus because I'm like, okay, you're a kid, like an actual kid. This is in the '80s. I'm a little sus right now because how you know that?
What about you, Maria? What you think about Alice?
I do agree that she was annoying. I feel like I don't know. She was just kind of there, really. She was just yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. She was kind of really dumb. I feel she was definitely not Andy, and she was just kind of there, like just to hold the doll, like basically what Chucky needed was to be held and brought around. But like that was it. I don't know. She didn't really stand out for me as like the kid who had the doll. She was just kind of just there, really. Like I understand when she was a part of like their family, but yeah, she didn't really stand out for me. I definitely did not see her surviving at the end, which I guess in a way she kind of didn't. And just like I guess her sense or like of like threat is probably I feel like it's so low because how did you like you do not find this weird? I guess not, but yeah, she's just not my favorite, really.
Same. But what about babysitter Jill, who was kitty licking the mother?
Um,
Tawan.
Another person who was like, she was just, and it's so great. I feel like all these characters besides Nika are just for character development of Nika, because like they're not serving any of their own purposes here. They're just not like serving any purposes. And Jill is definitely one of them. Like she was really just there for that subplot of her and Barb having an affair and Ian to get mad at it. Besides that, like she really had nothing else going on. She barely felt like a caretaker for Alice, if I'm being honest. Like she, I don't know. Like man, I don't, I don't really know what else to like say about her because like yeah, she really was just there, kind of die and add like an extra body to the kill count for this movie. But yeah, I don't have anything to say about her. I'm sorry.
Maria.
Yeah, Jill just doesn't really stand out for me besides the fact that like her and the mom were together. And I mean, I guess she was a good babysitter. Um, I I also kind of liked the way she died. I thought it was different. Um, but that's it. Like she just didn't really stand out.
How did she die?
I think she was
She's electrocuted.
yeah, yeah, when she was like on her on her laptop, half naked, and then Chucky like comes and she like looks at Chucky. Which I actually liked that scene. Now that I'm thinking about it, because like she looks over at him and he's just looking at her, giving her this weird ass look. and then he like drops the he like kicks the bucket and she dies. Which I thought was smart because I feel like it definitely could have been, an accident. Um, but I don't know, I just kind of feel like I think out of everyone there, she was probably the nicest person to Nika, besides Alice. But she was also just kind of just there to add to the drama. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's it.
Okay, we're Father Frank. Why was there a priest in this movie? I don't understand why they're like while they're why they had a priest in this movie. It wasn't needed. What did you guys think about Officer Frank? It can be like was Officer Frank, not Officer Frank, was Father
Father,
Frank needed in this movie?
he was needed so that we could get that nice kill with them moving that piece of metal off his head so he could die like that.
I
That was his
guess,
only
but like
purpose.
what was the point of the poisoning if they were gonna kill him in a different
That
way?
that I do agree with because he was
They
gonna die
always went in some
regardless.
like grotesque poisoning scene.
Yeah, because
Like
he was gonna
Yeah,
die
and I
regardless.
just and like the fact that they didn't even show us how like he was, because like I mean obviously I think he like swerved off the road because of the poisoning, but they didn't even show us that. They didn't even show us how he was like struggling. They just showed us like when he was like sweating before he left, and that was it. Like then next thing you know, it cuts off to like a car scene. But they didn't even actually show us what the poisoning did or like him struggling with it. And I also thought like that whole mini plot line where it kind of shows you how Barb was like really religious, which is why she brought the priest, but Nika was like, no, like, I left the church a long time ago. Like, why was that there? You know? Like I'm like just to like introduce the priest, but then the priest died so fast and then that was it. Like I thought that was kind of weird.
Very. I agree with everything you said. I just don't understand why he was there. Like, why is Father Frank here? We don't need Father Frank. And it's those. It's like most of like modern horror movies, just like throw in a priest or throw in like some type of like religious aspect for no fucking reason, even if it's just like a cameo.
Yeah, because he could have been taken out and nothing would have changed.
Facts. They they could have put Jill in that fucking car, or Barb, or Ian.
That's very true.
But what about our surprise post-credit scene cameo of Andy Barkley? What did you guys think? Were you guys expecting it, Maria?
I didn't know there was a post credit scene.
You didn't see
What?
Andy?
No.
What?
What?
Yo!
Wait a
How did you
minute.
watch the movie? How did you watch the movie?
Not us spoiling it.
Online?
Okay, we're can you play it right now?
Hold on. Let me.
That's so funny.
You
I'm
didn't.
weak.
I was not expecting this. Oh
I didn't
Lord.
know there was. I don't wait for the credits. Oh, he has Kyle. He has a picture of Kyle and his mom. Oh,
Okay. Now I'm bringing it up. So, what do you guys think about our surprise cameo post-credit scene? Andy,
I
Maria,
was. Oh my bad.
wait. Let me go after. It's still playing.
Tuan.
I wasn't expecting that actually. As like a little post credit thing, I definitely wasn't expecting, and I also didn't expect it to actually be Alex Vincent like reprising the role as well as as
Right?
Andy.
They got OG Andy back. That's what makes it even better.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. Like, even though like the retconning makes no sense, like it's just like you can tell like the actors and the people that work with Don Mancini on Child's Play and stuff. They just like doing these movies, but also him because if he was like a bad director, like a bad visionary or whatever for like the movies and stuff like that, they wouldn't come back. So you could tell that something's got to be right in the
And he has to
process.
create, he has to cultivate like a good like work environment because like they
Yeah,
all like seem like they enjoy being a part behind the scenes in front of the camera. It's mostly always the same team, so you definitely get the feeling that he creates a nice like safe space to be in. And
yeah,
like they kept
which
fucking
is
Alex
nice.
Vincent back, like
Yeah, and I
very
like
nice.
that a lot. But it was just so funny the way it all came together and like how he's basically been preparing for this forever, kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis and like the Halloween like remake or whatever, like reboot, the newer one, and like she knew
Hmm.
Michael was eventually gonna come back, and Alex, I'm gonna say Alex, Andy's character knew that Chucky was eventually gonna come back, and it was never over. So yeah, I appreciated that scene.
I did, I did too. I enjoyed. I don't know. I enjoyed all. I enjoyed. I mean, he had like in that scene alone, they tied all the previous movies together
True.
because you see the photo of what's her name.
It was his mom and
You see
Kyle.
the photos of Andy.
And Kyle.
Yeah. You see the photos of Kyle. You see the photo of his mom. He asked his mom about Mike. So in all of that, you tied it together, and then we have fucking. I'll get there, but like you get all that, and it's great. What about you, Maria? What would you think about the big post credit scene reveal?
I was surprised. It was nice seeing everything kind of come together, you know? I was not expecting, definitely not expecting that. But like, didn't Chucky put his soul into the little girl at the end though? Into
That
Alice?
that's another thing I hate. I hate the fucking cliffhanger because we have that cliffhanger, and then also a cliffhanger of Andy possibly shooting Andy. I mean, Andy possibly shooting Chucky, and it just like goes off. So we don't know what happened to the girl. We don't know what happened to Chucky.
Oh. I mean, it was nice seeing Andy, you know, definitely not expecting it. Um, huh. I mean, it was nice to see like that, you know, he's living his life, I guess. And I guess nice to see that he's definitely prepared. Cause he
Oh
like
yeah,
as soon as Chucky came out of the box, he just pulled out his gun.
You know what? I also didn't expect. I didn't expect to see Tiffany. I didn't
true.
expect to see human Tiffany again. Like, like, like in universe, that is Tiffany and Jennifer Tilly's body. Like you would just that cop was just murdered by a movie star.
Yep, that's so funny. I think that's why it makes it so much more funnier.
Well, what about you, Maria? What you think about Tiffany?
Yeah. I totally forgot about Tiffany until right now, but it was honestly I thought it was nice. Like, yeah, I feel like seeing her murder someone after like the seed of Chucky when I guess she made it seem like she was just over all that, I guess. Well, besides her killing the babysitter. I thought, you know, after basically dismembering Chucky, that she was just kind of over him, but the fact that she's kind of helping him, you know, like go around mailing him around, shipping him to like the places he wants to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Which I kind of was surprised that she shipped him over to like some woman, like I guess not woman, but the family he was obsessed with. Um, but it was nice seeing her though. Like I missed her in the movie.
You know, for me, it was more like I thought she wanted to be Jennifer Tilly so bad, but she completely just dyed her hair back. She put her mold back. She's wearing the same sexy clothes. I was like, weren't you trying to get away? I thought you wanted to be Jennifer Tilly.
Like she
What
just
about you,
Tiffany,
Tuan? What'd you think of
like
that?
she just like Tiffany'd up Jennifer Tilly to look exactly how she already was.
Yep. Could you imagine if someone watched The Bride of Chucky, skipped the seed of Chucky for some reason, and then went straight to the curse of Chucky and was just like, what the fuck happened?
That
When
is
did she
very
get her
true.
body back?
Yeah, they would have no.
But what'd you think about Tiffany?
Yeah, I thought it was cool, like to see her back. Like I said, like in this franchise, Jennifer Tilly, like she just does what's needed of her character. So, her playing herself as Tiffany at the same time, it's very funny to see. But it it works though in these movies, and always glad to have her back in, especially in the next one in the show as well. She was good.
Well, we've come to the end, folks. But before we sign off, I'll give you guys some behind the scenes facts. I know that this movie has a budget of 2.8 million. They gave these people 2.8 million to make this movie. Why on God's name did they do that?
What's Chucky, you know?
I mean, yeah, but they got a box office of 3.8 million, so they made some of their money back. They made all their money back with like 10 million extra. That's fun. This is the first movie of the Child Play series to be released direct to video, but the movie did have a theatrical release in several countries outside of the U.S., like Brazil and some other random countries in Europe. Brad Dourif, the guy who voices Chucky, recorded all his lines in less than a day, and I'm not surprised because Chucky barely said any fucking thing at all.
Facts.
This is the first time since Child's Play 3 that shows Chucky communicating with a child. That's right, because there weren't any kids in Bride of Chucky, and that one random British girl we had was yelling that shit face because he was pissing his pants. This is the first film of the series to have Charles Lee Ray, like in human form, to be shown again since the original Child's Play. Because in Child's Play 2 through Seed, we didn't have any more Charles Lee Ray flashbacks. And another fun fact: this was supposed to be a remake that was going to be directed and written by Don Mancini, that would have seen the series refreshed and be even darker and scarier. But that didn't work out. This movie currently has a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Bloody Disgusting said The Curse of Chucky just may be the best home video sequel since Wrong Turn 2.
Who I actually do like
Spoiler
that one.
alert, I don't like Wrong Turn 2.
I like that one just because of the kills.
Oh, no, no. I want better for you, Tuan. but, but before we wrap it up, guys, Maria, Tuan, cash or pass on The Curse of Chucky? Maria.
I'm gonna pass, to be honest. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't feel anything while I was watching it, you know? Like at least with like the seed of Chucky, I laughed and I was like, okay, I kind of dig it, but like the Curse of Chucky was just, I don't know, it was kind of bland to me. It was just, and there was just too much drama going on for, I feel like just for, like, I mean, not that I don't enjoy the drama, but I just feel like as a movie, as it's supposed to be a horror movie, and I'm not seeing Chucky really kill anybody, and I feel like it wasn't as gory, and it just wasn't like, I don't know. I did not like the fact that they kept Chucky silent for so long when we know the talk moves and we know he kills, we know he fucking walks around. Like, just get him moving. But yeah, I didn't like it, so I would definitely pass on this.
Tawan, cash or pass? Curse of Chucky.
In terms of just like this movie by itself, like this singular movie, I would pass. Like I don't think it really stands really on its own to like just like watch it singularly without like maybe like no knowledge of the other movies and um like if you were to just put like wanted to watch something scary, you put this on, I would pass in that sense. But um but in the sense of like say you wanted to eventually like watch like Cult of Chucky and also like the TV show, I would cash just because it does like add in some points that may be needed to.
It's a nice bridge. It's
Yeah,
a nice bridge.
yeah. So in that sense, I would cash on that. But yeah, just this movie on its own, I would say I would pass. But that final like post credit scenes, even though that was all fan service, that's good fan service, and I need more of that.
And I feel like we definitely gonna get it. We definitely got it with the TV series.
Oh yeah.
For me, yeah, for me, I'm gonna say it's a pass. This is my first time watching this movie. I didn't really enjoy it. I mean, the post credit scene and seeing Tiffany and seeing Andy with the photos of Kyle when his mom, that was all amazing. But the hour I had to sit through to get there wasn't. So this is a pass for me. And again, like this is my first time watching this movie. I've seen Seed of Chucky several times. I've seen Cult of Chucky several times. I never felt the need to watch The Curse of Chucky, and now I see why. So that's a three. That's a 0 out of 3. That's not good. Come on. Next week we're going to be watching The Cult of Chucky. Now this one I haven't watched it in a while, but I do remember liking it. I don't remember. Have you guys seen The Cult of Chucky?
I have.
I have not. This is gonna be a first for me.
Well, I will tell you right now that there's a post-credit scene at the end of Cult of Chucky. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there's a post-credit scene.
I'm just not used to post credit scenes. The only post credit scenes I wait for are the Marvel
Uh,
ones.
yeah, and well, that was a post. Well, this was a post-Marvel post-credit scene movie.
Oh,
This
that
came
makes
out
a lot of
2013.
sense.
Yeah,
You,
I mean,
you
this
just
came out
got you just gotta
2013.
assume
They'd
at this
already
point.
had anything post Avengers 2012 has a post credit scene. Like I will sit there, or
Look,
I'll go to Wikipedia to make sure. I usually go to Wikipedia first. Be
look,
like, don't.
There's a website for that
I
too
was just happy
now.
the movie was over.
You're over. You were done with the shit. You're like, I gotta get rid of this.
I was done with the movie. I was like, great.
The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is a Letters to Media production.
Should we do an intro?